I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have if I can.
Any questions? Commissioner McNinch?
Yeah, I hate to do it late in the day, but the appeal that was filed by Clinton Felton.
Yes.
Now, I wasn't here, so I'm assuming that we had somebody that was convicted of violations. They appealed to the board because as a result of those convictions, they had their licenses suspended for 3 years, which is a statutory requirement. So the thing that was on appeal was how the department processed it. The board found that they had processed it properly. So what recourse does he have? He's challenging that, a review of that, or is he challenging the fact that he lost his hunting licenses, hunting privileges, or is he appealing that he had a conviction?
He is appealing both the actions of the department and of the commission. And what this, just so you understand how a petition for judicial review works, it's limited to the record that's already established. It's not a matter that it's being reheard. The only thing either party can raise is what's in all the transcripts and documents that's already been provided either to the department or to the commission. So it's not a new trial or a new hearing on it. It's just the judge looks, it's generally an arbitrary and capricious standard. As long as the board did not act arbitrarily or capriciously, they generally uphold the actions taken by the boards. This is a very common form of appeal of an administrative action. Matter of fact, it's really the only avenue they have to appeal an administrative action. They're about 99% of the time the agency actions will be upheld.
Commissioner Macbeth?
Are we gonna be able to give them a transcript of actually the hearing?
We're required to, actually. You're required to file what's called a record on appeal, which is all the documents and the transcripts of, if there are any, of whatever hearing occurred.
So it will be the video and they'll actually get to hear the entire process.
It could be a video or it could be just a transcription. The ones I've done have all been transcriptions, but that's because
So
the agency.
somebody will
didn't do it.
transcribe the actual hearing.
Correct.
Yeah, because I think that's probably important.
Yeah,
That they get that full, because were you at?
I was not.
You were not, yeah.
No.
I was. And so I think it's important that they have that, because it was rather extensive, what we did. It was a very long, drawn-out process, and because he had counsel there, we took additional time to make sure we got it right.
The timeline on that is generally they have 30 days to file their appeal. Then the department, or I'm assuming Harry, because it hasn't come to my desk yet, would have 30 days to file what's called a notice of intent to participate and to get the record on appeal filed. And then from there, it's just briefs, basically.
Question to you. You, in your capacity with the commission and Department of Wildlife, you don't deal with these, but in your other capacity with transportation, you deal with this type of thing on a regular basis?
Yes, sir. And I would deal.
I knew that was the answer without asking you, but what I'm getting to is you will help Harry Ward through the process to make sure that it comes out the way that we want it to?
Certainly, and I would assume Harry's done these with other agencies that he's worked with too, but I will check with him on that.
I would appreciate that. Any other questions on the litigation report? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 14, public comment period. Anybody wishing to speak on items not on the agenda or that you can't be in attendance for tomorrow? We'll start with Tom Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Tom Barnes, Chairman, Elko County CAB. I apologize, I'm not going to be able to attend the meeting tomorrow, but there are some agenda items tomorrow that we discussed at our board meeting that I would like to discuss in front of you right now. One of them being the sage-grouse season. We had quite a bit of debate over that regarding the sage-grouse issue. There was talk about wanting to shorten the season, and I've been on the board for quite a while, and I was one of them that every year I want to shorten the season. But we had a lot of discussion about that, and Ken Gray was there and gave a presentation, a little talk. I think he's prepared for me now. And there's some area units of concern that that the department is closed. And in the areas that are open, he says right now we're seeing like a stabilization trend, or maybe even a slight upward trend in the population. And so I thought, given the what's happening there, we're going to go ahead and allow hunter opportunity, and so we voted to support the recommendation by the department. One of the other issues that we talked about quite a bit were trapping regulations. You're going to see, I think in your report from us, that we did not support the committee's recommendations. We wanted to leave them the way they were. We had a lot of discussion over that. It was probably over half the meeting devoted to that specific topic. But in the discussions, we thought, there are already a lot of regulations already on the books. And first, let's enforce what we already have before we put any more regulations in place. The trappers also came forward with some information, and they thought, just like there's hunter education courses, that maybe we should have trapper education courses. And we thought that was a really good idea. Kind of in the world we live in today, I think that's really important, and regardless of what happens, I think that's something that that needs to really be looked at. So I guess that was all the discussion we had. If you guys have any questions about these two topics that we discussed at our meeting, I'd be happy to answer them right now.
All right. Any questions, Tom? He won't be here tomorrow. Long day for you. You drove down this morning, headed back tonight. Appreciate you making it today.
Well, thank you. And Jack, I want to thank you for your service to the board. And you're the chairman and outgoing, and you deserve lots of thanks. But also, I think anybody that serves on this commission needs to be thanked also at this time, because you put a lot of time and effort, and, your own personal time into that. And as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't go unnoticed. So thanks to each of you commissioners.
Thank you. Bob had his hand up before you, Mr. Dixon, so you'll go after Bob.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Dixon. I'd like to talk about something that's not on the agenda. I wanted to talk about the pre-written regulations that are sent to LCB and about the workshops. I can say that at the Washoe Cab, both sides of a very contentious issue were upset that there was LCB language that was already written before you folks had a chance to hear it, before the cabs had seen it, or before the public got it. And the cabs didn't know what to do with it because it wasn't on their agenda, and it's not on yours, so I don't know what you're going to do. But I just want to let you know that everybody was kind of upset that that was there, and it was just kind of hanging around. We didn't know what to do with it. So when we have this written before you folks have an opportunity to vote on it and take care of it, it really locks us into a box that is presumptuous, that it's already accepted and it's been voted on. And so we have one or two choices. We can either take it or leave it, because once it's already in LCB, the workshop can only change a little bit here or there. So again, that was not very well received in the Washoe Cab. Thank you.
Mr. Dixon.
For the record, Paul Dixon, Chairman, Clark County Cab. I also will not be here tomorrow, but my Vice Chair, Mike Reese, will. But I figured I'd give you a chance. I tried to take very detailed notes on my action report this time for you guys to look at, because there are several areas where we made or recommending changes for you guys, and I wanted to highlight those with you. And one of those has to do with the wild turkey seasons, especially in the south. Because we're warmer, and you have that Moapa Valley, the three seasons, 1, 2, and 3. we were looking at ways to basically try to condense that hunt to keep it all in April when it's cooler and make it a more enjoyable hunt. The other thing is that this year we had to do the emergency regulation, as you remember, because we forgot that Overton was in a new hunt unit when we rearranged things. We also basically are giving people turkey tags anywhere between 5 and 10 days before the season starts. They get notification they have a tag. So our recommendation is we move up that whole application and issuance process by a month. And then we gave you suggestions for shortening the season, not shortening, but changing the season dates to keep all of that season, those 3 seasons down in Moapa Valley, condensed down into the month of April, and not getting into May where it gets very warm in that area. I mean, by May, it's very hot, and it's not a comfortable hunt. And if you've ever turkey hunted in full garb, in 98-degree weather or 100-plus degree weather in full turkey garb is not fun. I'll leave it there. So that's one area that I would like to have, and I know that Vice Chairman Reese will work that tone to make sure that you guys push that. The other thing is that it was recommended that the gray fox season, we had a long discussion at our CAB meeting about why the gray fox season did not need to mirror the bobcat season, and that the gray fox season could go back to what it is this year versus mirroring the bobcat season. Everybody supported the short bobcat season because of numbers and kit recruitment and that kind of thing, but almost unanimously in the room, with except for a couple of people, they felt very strongly, and that we should basically go back to basically having the gray fox season be the season that starts on November 1st and goes through the end of February, last day of February. And I know that any of the trappers here, Tracy Truman's here, wrote up some stuff, and John Sullivan was there, all talked about the difference in sets and the likelihood of inadvertently catching a bobcat in a gray fox set is very small. And you ask the number of gray fox that we catch is a small number anyway. So you take up all those things together and you ask how many bobcats we inadvertently catch and potentially have to release, and the number is very, very small, if any. So I believe that that's a reasonable request at this point. And the other thing is that, Jack, when you called me the other day, I was excited that you guys had put out a new trapping map. I thought, oh, cool. And then I sat back and thought, I posted an older map. So we had an extensive discussion about the trap map, trap visitation regulations around that stuff in Clark County CAB, but we did not take any action on that map because I hadn't posted it 3 days in advance of my meeting. Now,
You did have the motion that supported the map, and you could have discussed the motion.
I chose a different path, but that's okay.
I'm just
I would-
pointing out.
I chose a
One reason
path
the map
of-
changed was because I wanted the map to reflect the motion that was made.
I'm not sure that the people in Clark County would have made the distinction of whether it was a motion or a map with the amount of
Okay.
emotion in the room when we were discussing this. And I did seek legal advice to make sure that what would be the best course of action here. But I did allow an extensive discussion, and both Commissioners Lane and Macbeth were there for that discussion. And I feel that they can accurately represent what went on in that room without an official recommendation from Clark County CAB, okay? That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Come on up, Joe.
For the record, Joe Blakesley, just talking for myself. I want to thank Jack and Mike for what you've done today, just in case you're mad at me by tomorrow, so. I want to speak on a subject that's on all of our minds, and it's bigger than anything that was discussed today or will be discussed tomorrow. I can't say it's bigger than friendships because I take my friendships very seriously, but I'm going to say some things that might grate. Please don't take them personal. It's just business. What I'm talking about is the integrity of this system, the relevance of the county advisory boards, the relevance of this wildlife commission. Don't get me wrong, I want a viable commission. I want viable CABs, very much so. You guys all remember the Sunset Committee that we had 3 years ago, where the commission was under scrutiny. How did we justify our existence? How did we defend that right? I heard science time and time and time again. I heard North American model of wildlife conservation. How are we going to do that if it comes up again? I say we justify it the same way we did then. Specifically, the seventh sister of the North American model. That was the platform that we stood on. Let's not knock the legs out from under it. There is a drift towards managing wildlife by politics. That's a dangerous shift in that platform. Politicians can be like hungry, habituated bears. If you feed them, they'll be back for more. I believe that they will respect us if we tell the truth and if we give them reason that we believe in the integrity of the system. We are in a culture war. Make no bones about it. Those that criticize us, that I call antis, and I can call them that if I want to, have zero tolerance for what we do. Zero. They don't want us to even have one bear. Not one. They want us to live like them and believe like them. And I'm not going to do that. They aren't here to commit or to make compromises. They're here to commit cultural genocide.
30 seconds.
Okay. Just ask yourself, do you believe in the seventh sister of the North American model? I don't want to become a wild horse. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Moldy?
Mr. Chairman, Don Mouldy speaking for myself. I guess Mr. Blakesley opened the door for this one. I have in my hand the seven sisters of the North American Wildlife Conservation, and just in case those of you in the audience have not read this before, I'll go through them quickly. By the way, the eighth sister I suggested 2 or 3 years ago is not here. It was one I called the chicken coop sister, where no animal should be killed for a defective chicken coop. That referred to the red fox. That was a joke. Anyway, number one sister, wildlife is held in the public trust. And that is in fact true in Nevada. Wildlife belongs to everybody, although that idea seems to get lost around here a lot, in my view. Prohibition on commerce of dead wildlife. That's number 2. That's talking about commercial hunting, sale of wildlife, and so on. Democratic rule of law. I'm outvoted 7-2 every time I come here to this meeting on issues I'm concerned about. That, to me, is not very democratic. Hunter opportunity for all. Well, we hear a lot about hunting opportunity. Non-frivolous use. Every time I hear about these coyote killing contests, that sister comes to mind. And number 6, international resources. That one really doesn't apply. And the one Mr. Blakesley was talking about, sister number 7, scientific management. But what it strikes me that he and others don't seem to understand is that data collection or science in some ways has little to do around here, because there's no such thing as science that tells you to kill an animal or not kill it. In other words, to have a hunt or not. There is no science that says that. That decision is purely a value judgment. And since wildlife is publicly owned, that's where we come into play. We have an opinion just as good as his on that issue, the value judgment part of this, which is where I think we see the most noticeable deficiencies in this management system. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Glenn?
Glenn Bunch, Mineral County. I plan on being here tomorrow. Anyway, earlier on the disability archery thing, I just want to say we don't need to get tied up in worrying about their mobility. Just in Hawthorne, we have 2 It's a motorized wheelchair with tracks. And on yesterday's Today Show, they had a guy on there demonstrating it, and it was virtually impossible to turn over. It's a wheelchair with tracks. And the guy runs it with one finger, forward, backwards, and when he turns it, the one track rolls back, the other one goes forward, it turns on a dime. And he went over steps, he went over rocks. There's things out there, if those people are going to be doing this, they've already crossed that bridge. We don't need to get tied up in how they're going to pursue it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, before we get out of here today, oh, you coming up?
Cane recently. Obviously, I was a little bit late, but the Seven Sisters conversation, I just picked up the mention from Dr. Mold over there.
Can
That
you state your
Shannon
name,
Ireland, for the record, Clark
Okay,
County,
and-
Nevada.
Okay, I couldn't hear you, so if I can't hear you, I don't know if we're getting recorded, so.
Yeah, I was kind of far away from the mic, thank you. What I was saying is that Dr. Moldy, I'm obviously arrived a little bit late, was looking forward to coming tomorrow. The Seven Sisters conversation and what he brought up after Mr. Blakesley is, it is everybody's. It is, the wildlife belongs to everybody. There's only, 1,100 trappers in the state of Nevada? And how many of those actually actively trap every year? In comparison to everybody else who has full year usage of the same property that we have a season to comply with, that we go out of our way to comply with the laws and regulations involved with that season, just to be able to go ahead and try and do what we like to do with what we consider as our part of it, as they consider it theirs as well. Now, another thing is, sorry, my legs are shaking a little bit. The whole belief that the disability thing. I'm disabled myself, and yeah, there's tracks out there, but I'd like one for my truck to go on about 40 feet of snow too, but I can't afford it. But I'm sure there'll be more to say, but I'll wait until tomorrow, but that's all I picked up on now. Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to make an announcement for the Tonopah Convention and Visitors Authority. We're going to have a dinner tonight up at the mining park. The mining park is right behind the MISPA. If you go around the back of the MISPA, you'll see an arch. It's the entrance to the mining park, a steep dirt road. You go up there. Whether you attend dinner or not tonight, I would encourage you to go up there and explore what they have. It's pretty interesting. There's a visitor center up there. There's a walking tour you can go on. I'm inviting everybody in this room to that dinner. The Elks Club is putting that dinner on. There's going to be people of differences of opinion. I hope everybody attends that dinner. Respect everybody when you're at that dinner. I hope we're going to have plenty of time to discuss a matter tomorrow. I don't think we need to discuss it too much tonight. Let's enjoy ourselves tonight. Have a good dinner. Know why we're here. It's for the betterment of wildlife in Nevada, and we're all on that same page. So I invite every one of you to dinner. It'll be after 5:30. There will be a bar and barbecue and salad and everything up there, and I hope everybody can attend. So I'll see you guys up there, and we're back here tomorrow at 8:30. No band.
Depending on how late it goes, Jack may sing though.
Yeah.